Hey everyone, welcome to the War Room B-side, where I'll be talking about plans for the upcoming session. And the big wild card here, this all hinges on Japan's sub. So Japan probably will not be here for this session, and that's unfortunate because they play perhaps the most important role in this upcoming series of wars, or continuation of this series of wars. And the reason why that's the case, these are all separate wars right now, which means since the USA is in support of Italy, Russia, and France, and vice versa, that is, they're supporting each other against the UK and our coalition together, it is likely that anyone who pieces out here is going to try and join the other wars in order to help them out. See, once anyone ends a war, there's a truce that's going to be in place, which is going to prevent anyone else from joining wars. So UK has made an agreement that they will stay out of the European wars in exchange for France, Italy, Russia, etc. not coming in and helping the USA. But they didn't say anything about Japan, and because nothing has been said about Japan, Japan should join both wars. And just to do this by tag switching real quick, go Japan, Ottoman Empire, form alliance, proceed. Germany, already allied, so now let's go tag Ottoman Empire. They're going to accept and call ally. Same time, Germany is going to call ally. So assuming this takes place at the very beginning of the session, what happens is Japan is now in all three wars. But because Japan is so far removed from everything else in the game, there's no way that Italy can get over here. There's no way that Russia can get over here either, because all of Russia's troops are on this western front. So at a minimum, this lets Japan sit here and turtle, at minimum. So they can just defend their border if they want to, but if they really want to help us end this a lot quicker, they can start pouring in troops and go as far as they want to, because this is all now a state. Al-Quds is a state. Al-Quds itself is 87 war score potential, so there's a lot of potential war score to be gained here with no opposition whatsoever. Now, even though Japan doesn't have that many troops, they at the moment are not mobilized, so they could mobilize very quickly and overwhelm this area. And that's if they, assuming they want to help out our alliance, which I think they would. Now, once Japan is in all three wars, this frees up the UK as well. If the UK wants to, they can potentially join this war, and there'd be absolutely nothing anyone could do to stop them. Now, if they were to join the war, let's see, here we go. If they were to join the war, then this would be the case, which means Persia quickly overwhelmed, maybe even to the point where they could be forced out of the war entirely, in which case it would be Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottomans, UK, and Japan versus only Russia and France. So if that were the case, Russia would have to immediately surrender. There'd be no chance whatsoever that Russia could do anything about it. Now down here, I'm in a weak position, so I would have to just hold tight and hope that Russia doesn't realize my weakness. So I'll be holding this line and not pushing at all. The one exception here is this stack, which is 81,000, and in the actual game it's not moving, but since I loaded it, they're moving. So in the actual game, this is 81,000, nothing but infantry. So if I can quickly move my units down and they don't notice that this is happening here, I can attack with these two units into Chisinau, despite the river crossing, with a ton of artillery, and hopefully before they realize what's happened, I'll wipe out this stack. But that depends on the dice rolls. It also depends on whether Germany is able to come down and back me up here. So that would require probably one or two stacks, German stacks here backing me up. But if they are able to do that, even if it's just infantry, I think that would be worth it. Now here in the north, I think I think Germany is going to be able to continue pushing, but I don't see any reason for them to push past the forest, so just getting to that point is going to be great. Now in the north, Sweden, or Scandinavia, has committed to join. I don't know if that's still the case, but assuming they do, they're very interested in taking both Karelia and Ingria. And if they do that, they've got lots of troops to spare. Well, not a lot, but they've got stacks to spare. They've got a navy, and given that Russia has no navy whatsoever, France has its entire navy right here bottling up my navy. It can't move its navy. And if Scandinavia joins the war against Russia, they don't have to worry about Italy's navy at all. So their navy is free to now blockade all of Russia's coastline. Also, they're able to come in and march behind the Russian line before Russia can actually sit up and do anything. So I think this is going to go in our favor. Now here in the west, I don't think anything's going to change. That is the line between Germany and France. This is pretty well set in stone. There's really no reason to attack. So just putting some units here to defend and inflict heavy losses should France attack. That'll be the way to go. Now be aware that France is trying to indirectly help Italy, which means France is trying to slowly ship troops around, small stacks, one at a time basically. But it does have a transport fleet here in motion. And I'm not sure if it's actually carrying anything right now, but it doesn't really matter. France has a lot of stacks to spare, and it's going to slowly start piling them into the Balkans. And the problem with this is if France comes in here and Germany, even if Germany brings down a couple of stacks to help defend, which I think they're likely to do. So if Germany brings down a couple of stacks to help defend, they're not technically at war with Italy right now, which means if Italy and France go into battle with me or the Ottomans, Germany would be unable to do anything about it. So Germany would have to join the war with Italy in order to help in the Balkans as well. But I think we can easily repel the Italians. Now, we've got a pretty big advantage here. That is lots of artillery, lots of infantry, and if Italy tries to attack, their army's just going to get demolished. So we've definitely got the advantage in northeast Italy. So right here, this is not going anywhere. Now, the wild card is Switzerland, but I'm sure Slayzer realizes that if he calls in Switzerland, Switzerland is just going to suicide its army because it's an AI, but it's also going to open up this whole corridor here where we can now march through. Obviously, Italy can march through as well, but we've got troops to pull down, and Italy has all of its troops over here, so it has to defend this border and keep this from being a corridor where Germany can march through. France could potentially come this way, and that's a problem. I don't know if France realizes he can do that, but if he does, then I'm going to have to funnel some units back up this way, and then Germany would also be helping there. So this border, I hope, is going to be very inactive, but if it becomes active, it's going to be a bloodbath, and I'm guessing it's going to go in our favor because I will not be attacking. Now, as far as the Ottomans are doing a great job of sieging everything that is Italian. So they've got all of Tunisia, they've got almost all of Egypt, and I believe this is a state right now, so it's actually giving them a bit of a malice. But key thing here is the UK has to give both the Ottomans and me and Italy and France military access if they aren't taking part in this war, because we have to be able to move troops back and forth through here. And if they give us access, then these troops can now come in and very quickly relieve the occupation of Najd, which would give us a ticker. And obviously these troops here unopposed, they're going to continue into Persia as well. Now, something I don't think Persia or really anyone has realized is these troops that I have over here. Now, I know it's not much, but hey, it's something. This is now giving us a ticker, and this ticker is important, and there's really no way Russia can get down here. Russia doesn't have a fleet, so it would have to march through. It doesn't have any troops that can march through, and they don't even realize that's a possibility. Persia's bottled up. Their troops got wrecked when we fought each other, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to march these troops back and backdoor Persia, regardless of whether UK comes into this war or not. These are going to be coming through to do that. So one way or another, Persia's going to be knocked out of this war. If Russia commits troops to defend Persia, then those troops are not going to be defending in the west, so that'll weaken them against Germany. Obviously, I won't be pushing into Russia, but Germany can. And just to re-emphasize, this border is not going anywhere, so just defending there. The one other thing that might happen is if France were to try to funnel troops to Persia, then that sort of weakens their Italian position. So I think they're just going to keep funneling troops into Italy, or excuse me, into the Balkans, and try and force the Ottomans to peace out. Now, if worse comes to worse, as I mentioned, even if one of these wars tips and we lose, it is possible we can win the other one. So if we peace out of this war, we lose Najd and we lose 20%, whatever that happens to be. If we lose this one, then unfortunately the Ottomans lose a lot, but then we only lose an additional 20%, and then we can turn around and win this one. So either one of these, if we lose one, we will probably win the other. On the other hand, if we win one, we're going to win both, because Let's say we force Russia out first, which is what I think is going to happen. Then for my part, let's go yellow here. For my part, I'll have all of these troops that are currently on the border holding up Russia. All of these troops now become free, and they're just going to pour into Italy and also down into the Balkans. So really there's nothing Slayzer can do about that. Once this war ends, Slayzer loses, and no one can help him. The only person who could help him is USA, but if Japan is in this war, then USA can't join because USA is would be in two simultaneous wars with Japan, which is not allowed by game mechanics. So I think we've got this in the bag either way. It's a big question of what we're going to take. Assuming we win one or both wars, we're definitely going to win at least one. I don't know if we're going to win both. But if we win both, it's a question of what we want to take. And just as a quick example, so I would like Cochin China, and hopefully from the war with Italy, at minimum I want South Tyrol back because that's my core. I don't have enough. There's no possible way I could get Venetia in this war, so I'm not even concerned with that. But what I'm also hoping is that Italy loses this area to someone, and that someone could be anyone who helps us. Hopefully Spain, might be Belgium, might be anyone really, might be Germany. Anyone who wants to join against Italy could potentially get this area, and that would be a massive blow to Italy. Personally, I want Liberia if I can get it. If I can't, then whatever. But we're not going to let Italy take Serbia and Albania if we can help it. And even if we do, the Ottomans will have cores on it, which means in 5 years they can just come back and declare war. And there's really nothing Italy can do in this case. This is indefensible. Assuming the Ottomans are able to declare a separate war, this is not a problem. The Ottomans, for their part, I don't think they necessarily want anything. They've added a cut-down size against Italy. And as Germany put it during our group chat the other day, the fact that we're helping the Ottomans is basically their reward for winning the war. So otherwise we could just let them lose. They would have lost terribly, and that would have ripped them apart. But rather than let our opposition do that, we decided to back them up, and for that reason they should just be thankful, which, you know, I'm fine with that, and I think he is too. But basically I don't want a whole lot out of this war, although I would like the added coastline, and I would like to get South Tyrol and Liberia, hopefully. But we'll see what happens with that. The more important question is Russia. Personally, I don't really want anything off of Russia, and Germany wants a lot, and he wants populations, so it could go either way though. We have 100% potential, a potential of a 100% added war score. And also I should mention that this Cochin China is against the Russia war, not the Italy war. So there's possibilities here. But Germany wants to either destroy France, that is, acquire Alsace-Lorraine and whatever this is, Champagne or something, and maybe something else as well, that would completely wreck France and make them unable to participate in any other major war till the end of the game, essentially. Or take the population centers of Russia, and this includes Rovny and Kiev and Luhansk, I think, and as a sort of support for that role, I'd be probably taking Bujak and whatever this area is, Azov or something. I believe there's 6 states here that together would be 100 war score, but obviously if we did that, it'd have to be in a very coordinated manner, and we'd be ditching all of our other potential war goals. Now, Scandinavia would like Ingria and Karelia, but as Germany pointed out, doing this is kind of a waste of points because there's not a whole lot of pops here, and even though it would look nice, it's not really worth the amount of war score that it would cost. So Germany, in taking part in this war and in hopefully winning this war, wants to permanently cripple either Russia or France, and it's not going to be a 50-50 sort of thing. Basically, during the war, we're going to decide either we're going to destroy France or we're going to destroy Russia, and rather than trying to release Poland, Lithuania like we did before, remember Poland, Lithuania was basically this whole area which temporarily weakened Russia for like 5 minutes and they took it right back. Rather than do that, Germany wants to take it outright and prevent them from ever getting it back, and he wants to take the population centers for that reason.